Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we get to take a look at the all-new 2024 Ford Ranger. This is an XLT with the Sport Appearance package. Huge shout out to Mooresville Ford for providing this all-new midsize truck for me today. Definitely take a look at their website. That link is down in the description. So this Ranger is finished off in shadow black. MSRP is just over $39,000. Now this is powered by the 2.3 liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. It's paired to the 10-speed automatic, pumping out 270 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque. That power is sent to the rear wheels. This weighs in right around 4,400 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in just over 7 seconds with a top speed of 112 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 18 gallons. You'll expect to see around 20 miles per gallon in the city, 24 out on the highway. This has a wheelbase of 128.7 inches. Its overall length is 210.6. It has a width of 79, a height of 74.4. Its ground clearance measures in at 9.3 inches. And it also has an approach angle of 30 degrees, a breakover angle of 23 degrees, and a departure angle of 25 degrees. As we move on to the exterior styling now for the all-new Ford Ranger, let's start off with the Ford badge front and center, just like all of the F-Series pickup trucks, very large. The rest of this grille is also finished off in gray, and it works its way into the headlight housings on both sides. There's also plenty of cutouts to provide a lot of cooling to that turbo engine. But check out the headlight design with the turn signal in the upper section and that C-shaped DRL that wraps around the entire outside. Now this XLT also has the fog lights in the lower section. There's a brush trim piece for the middle section of the bumper. And take a look at this massive inlet with the active grille shutters just behind that to provide even more cooling. There's also a small air dam in the lower section just to help better improve with airflow and aerodynamics, along with the cutouts that are on both sides of those fog light housings. There's also the classic double lines coming down both sides of the hood that you would see on a normal Super Duty or some of the other Ford SUVs. Now, as we work our way to the side for the Sport Appearance package, that just adds the 17-inch wheels, finished off in gray with that multi-spoke design. XLT badge is also on that front quarter panel. There's black for the side mirrors there, as well as on the door handles too. It's surrounding all of the window trim. And we have the crew cab or the quad cab there with the short bed. Very nice proportions for this. You'll notice too that the fender arches are finished off in that gray. So they match with the wheels, which is a great accent. And then there's some curved lines at the height of the door handle running down just above Sport for the bed sides there to give it a great look. And then in back, same Ford badge. There's a backup camera. Ranger is also stamped in the lower section. There's the LED taillights. More of the gray accents for the bumper end caps with these sensors. And then this Ranger can tow right around 7,500 pounds with a payload capacity of 1,700. Now, before we work our way to the bed space, this truck does have remote start. So if you lock it and double tap this button, it will start right up. And then you can also double tap on that to shut it off as needed. Now, there's no trunk release for this key fob, so you just have to use the handle up underneath, where it does have the soft opening tailgate. Now, over on the driver's side, there's actually some accessories and power outlets, so you can use those as needed. No spray and bed liner for this particular model, but there are some tie-down hooks, of course, so you can secure any items. And then for the tailgate, you'll notice there's a ruler on the backside. There's also some indentions where you could place your drinks, tape measures, whatever items that you have. And there's also the C-channel clamps. So that way, if you have any items that you need to secure to the tailgate, you can put those clamps in and make that work. Now, there's no bed step in this tailgate, but this is pretty low, so it would be easy to get in and out of. Interesting not to see that like its bigger brothers, but it's also a very light tailgate, so that is easy to close. Now, as we work our way to the interior for this door panel, has a pretty nice design to it. Check out this integrated pattern in the plastic on the upper section there. More gray trim accents surrounding the grab handle, where the release handle is tucked away on the back side there. And then there's a little bit of storage in the lower section there. And then this XLT has two-tone for the cloth seats. And with this being such a small truck, there's actually hidden storage underneath the floor. So you can lift up the entire bench portion and you have hidden storage for any items that you'd like to place. There is no storage behind the seats, so you just get that storage there. And at 5'10", it's It's pretty easy to hop into the back. I have plenty of room down in the footwell there. A little bit of storage in the middle with some auxiliaries down below. And I have about 2 inches above my head or so. Honestly, it's not bad. I used to own a Toyota Tacoma, which is a small size or mid-size truck. This is not bad. This is a little bit more spacious, it seems like. Right in the middle, there's also the armrest with 2 cup holders, and then the electronic sliding rear glass is in the window there. Not bad for this mid-size truck for full-size adults. Now up front, there's lock and unlock. You have your window adjustments along with your side mirror controls, which are power folding. So you have that control that you can use. And there's more storage down in that lower section. Now this driver's seat is power operated, same design as you saw in back, of course. And then as we hop in, this XLT does have the turn key. So you do have to install that over on that right side there. And then by turning that, we can start this back up and go over the rest of this info, where this has a solid black leather steering wheel. On the left side, you will notice all the cruise control settings. There's volume, Bluetooth, and your lane keeping assist. On the right side, there's tuning, another Bluetooth control, and then you have these arrows to go through the digital gauge cluster. Now, engine temperature is on the left side, fuel level is on that right side. And then by going through all of this information, you can pull up some of these vitals here, as well as letting that disappear where you just have miles per hour and your lane keeping assist in the middle. If I push on the 3 arrows, now we can get through all of this information. So you can go into your off-road, but we can go back into towing. You have audio, you can look at your phone, navigation, settings, and even maintenance there. So it looks like you have a good bit that you can go through. My view is configurable, so you can set this up with the information that you would like to see. And then just to show real quick, we can even go to the towing tab. So that way you can make sure everything is ready to go before you hit the road. So it's nice to see a little bit of info there. On this left side, there's all the headlight and fog light adjustments, even the cargo light, which is located by the 3rd brake light, and there's some dimmer switches. Neat design for that air vent there. And then as we work our way to the middle, check out the size of this infotainment system. Now I'm going to start by pushing on the home icon in the upper left, where you can get into your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, you have your navigation, even towing that you can pull up too. So that will pull up in the entire full screen there. If you exit out of that and push on the button next to that, check out all of this information that you can go through. You have a lot of random info, just some general settings that you can go into. You have a lot of driver assistance that you can turn on and off depending on what you feel comfortable with. You can go into your vehicle to get in some more general information, as well as all of this information and the display layout. There's also some software update, even the zone lighting. So you can use that to light up the entire outside of this vehicle. So you have a lot to go through there, and then you can even pull up the backup camera. Now in the middle, it looks like we have some presets here. So you can get into your phone, pull up the navigation, you have music and towing. So you can have those right in the middle ready to go. And then in the lower section of the screen, there's temperature controls. This has heated seats, you have fan speed that you can get into, and then some other recircs. And then there's physical buttons for your AC, so you can use those as well for driver and passenger. Volume is right in the middle, you have your fan speed too, and a few other controls. Now underneath that, there's wireless charging with some storage. Looks like you have maybe some small grab handles that you could use. A little bit of storage with 2 cup holders. And then by putting this into reverse, you will see that backup camera with the sensors up here, and you even have the manual settings, so you can shift using the plus and minus on the side. Now there's the e-brake behind that, another little storage bin, and then for these row of controls, you have the engine start stop, there's a locking rear diff, you have traction control, and by pushing on this button here, that is for the different driving modes. So there's normal, eco, sport, tow and haul, and then you have a slippery mode. And then for the armrest, you have plenty of space, even more storage in the glove box, and you even get a little bit of space just above that, where you could place some items if you need to. And then up top, there's the sunglass holder along with your dome lights and the rear window. And a look at visibility. It's a small truck with a lot of glass, so it makes it very easy to see over both shoulders. As we set up now behind the wheel for the all-new Ford Ranger, it's been quite some time since I've been in the Ford Ranger in general, and I like the new updates that I've seen for the all-new Ford Ranger, including the screen. The front grille is a lot different looking. and it just has a little bit different of a vibe, some tweaks here and there to give it a nice kind of a refresh for this all new model. Now with this 2.3 liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, I've been able to drive some of its other competitors like the Tacoma, as well as the GMC Canyon, the Colorado 2, that are all going towards these turbocharged engines. So with a few miles that I've put on it so far, it seems like it's very similar to those other trucks as far as the power and the torque goes, and even its towing capabilities. So a lot of these mid-size trucks are going to these 4-cylinder engines. Some of them are incorporating hybrids or having the turbo, of course. And not to say good or bad, it's still nice to see that these engines have the same capabilities as some of the outgoing engines do. So for the Ford Ranger, it did have a V6. Now we are into the 4-cylinder. However, a V6 is going to be an option for the all-new Ranger. So it's going to be one of the few competitors for the mid-size market to offer both powertrains for their trucks, which I think is going to be a little bit more appealing. Nissan Frontier has not gone to 4-cylinders, so that has a V6. You'll get one in this. Toyota Tacoma has gone to solely the 4-cylinders, as well as the Colorado Canyon, like I mentioned earlier. So if you're looking for that V6, you really only have two options that you can go with. But driving the all-new Ford Ranger, it sits kind of low compared to the other trucks. I feel like I was just in the Ford Maverick last week. It sits higher than that, of course, but it feels like you're kind of more laid back in a smaller size SUV than a truck. A little bit different seating position than the Tacoma and some of the others that I've been in. But with a minor acceleration, this is quick. I really like the power that it has. I think it's very adequate for this. And as far as turning radius goes, it's a small truck, so it's going to be easy to park. Basically an SUV with a pickup on the back. A little bit larger, but you get the idea there. And so now let's put it into the manual setting, and we will use plus and minus. Give it another acceleration. And fairly responsive. I think you could use those for an acceleration like I just did, but they are mainly going to be used for towing, or if you happen to take this off the pavement and you need to use that locker, hold the gear, so that way the truck isn't constantly shifting. It's definitely good for those purposes. And so we'll pop it into sport mode now. The previous accelerations were in normal mode. Here we go. You can definitely feel the pep from this Turbo 4. It doesn't even seem like it's struggling. It's got plenty of power to get up and accelerate. So I like the power plant that it does feature. And this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the all-new Ford Ranger. Turning radius is fairly tight. So like I said, it's very easy to maneuver, especially in tighter situations. If you happen to take this off-road, it's got a good wheelbase and footprint to it for some situations like that. But it's definitely a nice place to be. Not a whole lot of changes when you really look at it. You know, we have the screen, maybe some other driver assistance settings, gauge cluster in the center there. I would call it a nice refresh for the Ranger. Definitely very nice though. Great option in the mid-size truck platform if you are a Ford person or you like the engine options that are available. But I will say too, aside from the drive, which has been very nice and comfortable, I like the interior layout for people, for backseat passengers especially. That's a huge deal in a mid-size truck like this. How well can you fit in the back seats? And I think Ford has done a really good job, especially for my size, 5'10", kind of an average size. I really don't see any complaints in the back. It seems like it's pretty well thought out for some passengers to have in the back. And as far as up front goes, it's very nice. I think it's a good, comfortable position and something that you can drive every single day. If you need a little bit larger, of course, you can go up to some of the other F-Series trucks. But this is something that is good, especially if you need more of a city type vehicle, something that on the smaller side. It's nice. I really don't see anything negative about it from my first impressions here. It's a good competitor to add to the list if you're looking at mid-sized trucks. But that is going to wrap it up for the 2024 Ford Ranger. Once again, huge shout out to Mooresville Ford for providing this midsize truck for me today. Check out their website, give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.